Welcome back. I'm going to be following up on a recent video that I uploaded called Shadow Projection. This one is going a little bit deeper into what is happening within us when someone may be projecting their shadow onto us, or we might be projecting onto them. Now, shadow projection can come in many different forms. It's not just the obvious anger and fear and very strong energy or very strong emotions and words being projected onto someone. It can also come in the way of avoidance. It can come in the way of detachment. It can come in many different forms. Observation is always the key. Observation is going to be very important to understand what is happening with the other person who we are engaged with on a deeper level. And as I mentioned before, casting judgment and criticism towards someone who is in their shadow is not going to help the situation. We need to look at these situations with compassion and with love and care, but also while protecting ourselves. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about how to understand what is happening within ourselves when we are dealing with shadow projection. And also too, how to understand if we are projecting our shadow and what that truly means. So when someone is projecting their shadow, when someone is in their shadow and in our space or around us, or again, projecting onto us, it is most likely, it can cause a reaction within ourselves. Now, what is that reaction? It can come in as intensity. It can come in as defensiveness. It can also trigger unresolved emotions and all confusion even, maybe even feeling confused or all of a sudden thrown off balance in some kind of form. This is normal, and that is an indicator of something that needs to be looked at deeper within. It is very easy to become defensive or to cut someone out or ignore it altogether. But people in our lives are truly here to teach us more about ourselves. And those in our closest relationship circle are going to teach us something deeper within ourselves, something that we need to look at within ourselves that needs healing, that needs observation, and that needs a bit of compassion and care. Shadow projection isn't a bad thing. It teaches a lot about ourselves. Again, relationships are here to teach us more about ourselves, and those closest to us will point fingers at our wounds that we need to look at within ourselves. It's so easy to look at the other person and get mad at them, or to hold resentment towards them, or to again become defensive, or to completely isolate because of a person. But what that person is actually showing us is more about ourselves. And through observation, we will be able to understand how to work through difficult situations. And what I've learned over the last little while especially is as uncomfortable as projection is onto self, it does allow for great change. It does allow for healing. It does allow for introspection. It does allow for self-exploration. And it does allow for ourselves to go deeper within, rather than look at that person as bad, wrong, or evil, or annoying, or frustrating, etc., etc. It allows us to look within ourselves first and understand what is it that they're pointing at within self. What is it that they're pointing at? What are they showing me on a deeper level that I need to look at within myself? So again, it's so easy for us to look at that person as the problem. But what they are showing us truly is something deeper within ourselves that needs to be explored. And shadow, as I mentioned, can come in many different forms. It can come in as obvious forms that we can truly identify, but a lot of the times it comes in forms that are unconscious, that we can't see and that we can't recognize. Also, our immediate reactions to things are triggers. And triggers come in the form of retaliation, anger, resentment, saying things in haste, but it also can come in the form of detachment, isolation, cutting people out, maybe even leaning to foods, addictive or compulsive, impulsive behaviors. This is going to be up for you, of course, to observe. And this is a constant work in progress. This is a constant flow. There's no right, there's no wrong. It's just an experience. And the more that you do this, the greater change you will see. The less triggered you will become, the more you will observe within yourself, and even those difficult relationships will take a new form. One of the areas that I look at specifically is our belief system. So mostly our limiting or false belief system that we have within ourselves that becomes activated and triggered when we are in certain challenging situations. So those challenging situations, like I said, will bring in something deeper within our internal self, within our subconscious. That subconscious system is connected with our belief system, our negative and false beliefs that we have within ourselves. We have many different beliefs. Like I said, I've been doing this work for many years now and going into these beliefs, these false beliefs. What is becoming triggered? What is creating maybe a skew on reality, a misperception on something, or again, an emotional outburst or reaction, or even tension within the body. So this can, again, as I mentioned, come in so many different forms. It can shut the body down. It can activate the body. You could become fatigued. There could be excitement, stress, anxiety, frustration. And we have the ability to heal it all. We have an ability to change it all. And through those steps of self-observation, you'll be able to notice what is becoming activated and triggered within yourself because of that situation that in your external world, because of the situation that you're dealing with in that moment in time. And as I mentioned, those limiting beliefs are buried deep within our subconscious, and they are old buried beliefs that are so subterranean that are very difficult to see. So the best way truly is through self-observation and paying attention to some of those unconscious behaviors. The more self-awareness that you develop, the deeper within yourself you can go. And this is layer by layer by layer. It does take some time to go into the depths within yourself. But constantly turn inward and flip the perception from the outer circumstance to your inner self and see what is happening in response to that projection or to that difficulty that you might be facing. That is where your answer is going to lie. How is that situation making you feel? Where are those feelings coming from? What is a belief that is attached to that feeling perhaps? And how can you let it go? Give yourself time and space to work through this as well. This is an inward journey, and we need time and space for us to feel through this, to dissect it, to understand it, to sit with it, and to let it evolve. The changes that we want may not happen overnight. This is a fluid dance, and it does take, as I mentioned, quite some time to understand and to feel and to sense and to heal and to integrate. Through shadow work and through understanding your shadow, you become more whole, meaning you see more of yourself. There's no end to this, by the way. This is a continual journey. There's no dead stop. There's no all of a sudden I know everything, because something else will come up. And so by facing your shadow and going inward and observing, sensing, feeling, and healing, you will start to integrate more of yourself. You will start to feel more of yourself. You will start to know more about yourself. You will start to understand more about yourself. And then, of course, it will reflect in your outer world. So remember, those people closest to you are teaching you something. They are teaching you something about yourself. And I know some of those lessons can be quite painful. They can be annoying. They can be frustrating, all of the above. But they truly are allowing you to look within, to heal, to integrate, to understand more about yourself, and to rise into your fullest potential, into alignment with your, of course, authentic self. And if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out at any time. I'm available always to answer any questions. And of course, I have the Shadow Project and the Inner Circle over on Patreon, where we dive into these topics in great detail with extra, of course, guidance and support. So I'm wishing you all the best on your journey and beyond, and I'll be seeing you again very soon. Take care.